Hopefully, here's a version that people in the general public and general audience can understand. I'm keeping my facts truthful, legally safe, and highlighting the scope of abuse that I've endured, the poisoning, the manipulationships, and everything that I've been going through to make it clear why my statements were not anything reactive other than by the threats that were being placed in my life covertly. The truth about my life and reactions is that I was dealing with reaction abuse based on being poisoned, and so anyone to think that it's not my right to have any bit of anger towards these people getting away with very serious and heinous crimes against me is just completely wrong. I believe my nieces and nephews and my cousins and everybody should know the direct truth that I'm trying to speak about my life and why I'm sharing it online. I haven't really had a choice, to tell you the truth, but it's not speculation and it's not exaggeration. It's the reality of what I've been living through. For many years, I was being systemically poisoned up and manipulated in ways that kept me unable to see the truth of what was happening to me or unable to reach disclosure for the discovery of the crime itself. I almost was left to die. And I mean, not left to die, but I almost was poisoned or chemically attacked to die. So I barely made it through alive in the first place by the proxies that my own brothers initiated to keep their contacts and tactics to control my life under the radar, keeping me in reactive modes of anger and fear and never allowing me to closure to the availability and the ability for myself to recognize the crimes being committed against me. So during that time, my communications have been reflecting anger because the frustration is the fact that I've been being mirrored, hacked, having my accounts hijacked. I don't have the original outreach of support or a support system that I thought I should be able to go to my brothers about. And so with me not being able to go to the people that are supposed to be there to protect me, it left me in the angering and frustrated positions of a hyper emotional state of mind. And I attended anger management and domestic abuse classes in the past while being homeless. And this was because of the covert poisoning that I couldn't see for what it was at those times. Also being monitored with the hacking going on. Oh, come on. Keep skipping around here on my where I'm at. So I'm also being poisoned, monitored, and having my phone hacked and mirrored to intercept my communications. The reality of it is being chemically and psychologically and digitally manipulated, all physical and metaphysical, to make it impossible for me to live my own authentic mind and self. It was during this time I realized a terrifying connection with Danny Heindrich, who also tried to kidnap me multiple times. When I was in the homeless shelter, I saw the man getting arrested for the murder and kidnapping of Jacob Wetterling. In which case, I'm stating these as survival measures for my own self because not only was I able to see that, but I was being hacked and I knew that something was being happening to me on a covert scale. So it was right after that my finding these things was always really important to Jesse for some reason. So I believe that there's connectivity to the kidnapping somehow with Jesse Lee and or the kidnapping of Jacob Wetterling having to do something with Danny Heindrich, my father, and the kidnapping of Jacob Wetterling. Never allowing me to complete disclosure to be able to see or reach closure about the availability to even recognize the crimes being committed against me. Because not only during that time my communications were reflecting the angering, frustration, hyper emotional states, as I've suggested, but multiple times as a kid, I was that same it was that same man that I saw on the screen that day that is how I learned that it was Danny Heindrich who tried to kidnap me. Someone who shares my same birthday was Jacob Wetterling. Seeing his face brought back some of the memories of surviving those attacks while being placed in a homeless shelter and while having my communications intercepted by these hacks, including the time I threw myself to the ground because he snapped at me, almost got me in his truck. That last time he tried to kidnap me, I threw myself down to the ground, knocking the wind out of myself almost, or barely was able to like roll underneath the car door and get away from him because I couldn't go up. He would have grabbed my feet. I couldn't have gone left. The door was there, and I couldn't have gone right because he would have expected me to. And it was all a very quick reaction to throw myself down to the ground to get away from this man. But the actions that he took against me were very real and they were very manipulated, I believe. So I endured the situation in an impossible process to reach through these experiences in any kind of healthy way. I have still yet to actually be healed from any of this crime that's been taken inside of my life because of all of the intrusion based on my own brothers, my own father, the proxy made lovers, and the proxy made friendship of Jesse Lee being initiated to keep me poisoned up since I was, 17 years old. So all of this is the exact statements of my true telling the story for what I have been going through, and the complaint must be understood as reactive expressions from someone that's been systematically abused, poisoned, and manipulated in these proxy relationships. I have never intended to commit violence, and my words were never a plan of action. They were a result of the years of trauma, coercion, and reactive survival mode because I've just been in survival mode the entire time throughout my life. I'm sharing this publicly to clarify the truth and explain why my life reactions cannot be understood by normal people who have no understanding of the full scope of what I've actually endured throughout my life. So I'm hoping that this makes it a little bit more transparent. That I'm seeking for safety and trying to reclaim my identity after years and years of being robbed of my life, my love life, and my own mind, and my ability to reason through these things based on the calculated poisoning. So I hope that establishes a little bit more punchier version towards you guys to be able to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing online, because I never intended to do this. Only thing I wanted to do on YouTube, like I've said multiple times, is create a funneling system for a very cool website that I was trying to build and move about, and I was almost there to have the money to be able to do it and everything on my own, on my own, and work up the charitable mission on my own. So I moved from that very quickly into needing charity or needing help or needing some kind of warrior campaign made for me. So that's why I started creating campaigns. Not only did I need them to establish a way from them being able to control my life by proxy, stopping me in these gaps of employment, stopping me from my gig apps to be able to work my life correctly in my own fashion, but it was stopping me 45 minutes at a time, half hour at a time, stopping me in my grind, having to reset my phone multiple times through different situations of delivery. And so it's just a really harsh place to be put in inside of this fashion, because when nobody understands what I'm actually saying out here and no one actually takes it to the extreme that they should on my behalf, and trying to take just what little I've said as not even thinking about it as being reactive states of mind coming out of a long-standing covert poisoning that I was coming out of, to think that I have any right to be angry at all, or that I would be in reactive abuse again. But for them to take that reactive abuse and run gambit on me is just beyond reasonable, when it's been all biologically being controlled through the arsenic poisonings and through the proxies that they've staged and had set up in my life. So I really need for my nieces, nephews, cousins, and everybody else who listens to my content to really understand what I'm actually coming out here saying, because it's like gang stalking times organized crime times family abuse times emotional abuse and just not allowing me to any kind of organic love life or life at all to be lived in my own accord. So every single step that I've been moving forward inside of my life, being poisoned in that way, was all about their coercive control of my life. So I really hope that you understand why I'm trying to reach a wider audience here. Man, I really need your support. If you know of a lawyer that can help me in this case, please send them my way. I'm Cobra Murdered on Facebook now, and I couldn't be my own self on Facebook anymore, which is establishing the availability of not even being able to add my own cousins and people that are close to me in my life. My Facebook was completely and meticulously taken down and maliciously taken offline for their own crimes against me to continue making it really hard for me to reach out to anybody to support me in this crime that's happening to me. So I hope that you see that for what it is, and I hope that these things don't get run gambit on me, and these people basically get away with erasing me, killing me, murdering me, or being able to make any more moves on me. I believe I wholeheartedly have the right to my own identity, and if they erase my identity and they get me into these places, I'm not a person that's going to be violent, and I would not be suicidal or anything like that, so I wouldn't want you to believe any kind of story that comes out about me in that defense of systematic closure of my life or anything else close to that. But I could really utilize your own supportive way to create a GoFundMe, create a Gift Send Go, or Give Send Go account, or Give Butter, or any of these campaign areas where you can hopefully raise up enough money for where I can continue in my grind. I know that other people have their network abilities to be able to move in this fashion, and if you did, it would mean a whole lot to me. And honestly, I think it would mean a whole lot to yourself getting my website up and getting the business that I was working on activated. So thank you for being here. I'm trying to take care of myself the best way that I know how, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves too. Goodbye for now.